Russia. A name that evokes a sense of vastness, of mystery, of power. It is a land that has inspired countless tales and legends, a place where the past and present intertwine in a complex dance. It is a land sculpted by history, a tapestry woven from the threads of conquest, resilience, and cultural brilliance. From the ancient cities of Novgorod and Kiev to the grandeur of St. Petersburg and Moscow, Russia's history is rich and varied. Spanning 11 time zones, it is a colossus that bestrides 2 continents, a geographical titan whose borders touch the frozen Arctic and the sun-drenched Black Sea. This immense expanse makes Russia the largest country in the world, covering more than 1/8 of the Earth's inhabited land area. From the snow-capped peaks of the Caucasus Mountains to the sprawling Siberian taiga, Russia's landscape is as diverse as it is immense. The Ural Mountains, often considered the boundary between Europe and Asia, add to this geographical diversity, creating a natural divide that has influenced Russian culture and history. The Volga, Europe's longest river, snakes its way through the heartland, while the frozen expanse of Siberia conceals untold riches in its depths. These natural features have not only shaped the physical landscape, but have also played a crucial role in the development of Russian society and economy. This vastness, this sheer abundance of natural resources has shaped Russia's destiny in profound ways. The country's wealth of minerals, oil, and gas has made it a key player on the global stage, influencing international politics and economics. It has fostered a spirit of self-reliance, a sense of being a world unto itself. The harsh climate and vast distances have instilled a resilience and resourcefulness in the Russian people, qualities that have been essential for survival and prosperity. Yet it has also bred a yearning for warm water ports, for access to the wider world beyond its frozen frontiers. This desire has driven much of Russia's foreign policy and military strategy throughout its history, from the time of the Tsars to the present day. This tension between isolation and expansion has been a recurring theme throughout Russia's long and tumultuous history. The country's vast size has often been both a shield and a burden, providing security from invaders, but also posing significant challenges for governance and unity. Throughout the ages, Russia's vastness has served as both a blessing and a curse. It has provided ample space for retreat and expansion, allowing Russian civilization to absorb and weather countless storms. However, it has also made the task of defending and administering such a large territory incredibly complex. It has provided ample space for retreat and expansion, allowing Russian civilization to absorb and weather countless storms. The vast steppes and forests have been both a refuge and a battleground, shaping the course of Russian history in profound ways. However, it has also made the task of governance a daunting challenge, a constant struggle to maintain unity across such an expansive realm. The central government has often had to contend with regional differences and local interests, making the task of ruling Russia a complex and demanding endeavor. To understand Russia, one must first grapple with its sheer scale, for it is a land where geography is destiny. The vast distances and diverse landscapes have shaped the nation's history, culture, and identity in ways that are both profound and enduring. It is a country that defies easy categorization, a place where the past and present coexist in a dynamic and ever-evolving tapestry. The story of Russia begins amidst the vast plains, where the land stretches endlessly under the open sky, creating a canvas of natural beauty and untamed wilderness, and icy rivers of Eastern Europe, where the winters are harsh and the rivers freeze over, creating a stark yet mesmerizing landscape. It is here that the emergence of Kievan Rus took place, a pivotal moment in the annals of history. This loose federation of Slavic tribes, united by trade and a shared cultural heritage, laid the groundwork for the Russian nation we know today. These tribes, with their vibrant markets and bustling trade routes, created a network of commerce that connected distant lands and diverse peoples. From the 9th to the 13th centuries, Kievan Rus flourished as a vibrant center of commerce and culture, linking the Byzantine Empire in the south with the Viking world in the north. This period saw an exchange of goods, ideas, and traditions that enriched the cultural tapestry of the region. At the heart of this burgeoning civilization lay Kiev, a city strategically positioned on the Dnieper River, a vital trade route connecting the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea. Kiev became a melting pot of cultures where merchants and travelers from far and wide converged, bringing with them their customs and knowledge. The rulers of Kievan Rus, known as Grand Princes, presided over a period of relative peace and prosperity, embracing Christianity from Byzantium and fostering a unique blend of Eastern and Western influences. This adoption of Christianity not only unified the people under a common faith, but also brought with it the rich traditions and artistic heritage of the Byzantine Empire. However, this era of prosperity was not to last. The once thriving civilization began to show signs of decline, as internal strife and external threats loomed large. From the east, a new power arose, sweeping across the Eurasian steppe with unstoppable force: the Mongol Empire. The Mongols, with their formidable cavalry and strategic prowess, posed a threat unlike any other. In the 13th century, the Mongol hordes, led by the legendary Genghis Khan and his successors, unleashed their fury upon Kievan Rus, shattering its unity and plunging the region into centuries of subjugation. The cities burned, and the once great federation was left in ruins. The Mongol invasion marked a turning point in Russian history. It was a period of great upheaval, but also one of transformation and resilience. It shattered the old order, forcing the Russian principalities to pay tribute to their Mongol overlords. This period of Mongol dominance, known as the Tatar yoke, left an indelible mark on the Russian psyche and shaped the future trajectory of the nation. Yet it also sowed the seeds for a new center of power to emerge, one that would ultimately rise from the ashes of the Mongol yoke. This new power would lay the foundations for the future Russian state, drawing strength from its past and forging a new path forward. From the ashes of Mongol domination, a new power arose in the east, the Grand Duchy of Moscow. This nascent state, emerging from the shadows of the Mongol yoke, began to carve out its own destiny in the vast expanse of Eastern Europe. Favored by the Mongol Khans and strategically positioned at the crossroads of vital trade routes, Moscow became a hub of commerce and political intrigue. The city's leaders adeptly navigated the complex web of alliances and enmities, leveraging their position to gain influence and power. Moscow gradually consolidated its power, eclipsing its rivals and laying the foundation for a new Russian empire. The construction of formidable fortifications and the establishment of a disciplined military force were key to Moscow's ascendancy. The rise of Moscow was inextricably linked with the emergence of the czars, absolute rulers who claimed divine right and sought to forge a centralized state. These rulers, adorned in opulent regalia, were seen as the embodiment of the state's power and divine favor. One figure looms large in the annals of early Russian history: Ivan IV, better known as Ivan the Terrible. His reign marked a turning point characterized by both monumental achievements and horrific atrocities. A ruler of immense ambition and ruthlessness, Ivan shattered the power of the old boyar families, the traditional aristocracy that had long held sway over Russian politics. His oprichnina, a state policy of mass repression, terror, and confiscation of land from the boyars, was a brutal method to consolidate his power. Ivan expanded Russia's borders through brutal conquest, subjugating neighboring territories and integrating them into his growing empire. His campaigns extended Russian influence far beyond its traditional heartlands, and established the framework for a centralized autocracy that would endure for centuries. His reforms in governance, military organization, and law laid the groundwork for a state that would become one of the most powerful in Europe. Under Ivan's successors, the Romanov dynasty, Russia underwent a period of rapid transformation. The Romanovs, beginning with Michael I, sought to stabilize and expand the state, navigating internal strife and external threats with a combination of diplomacy and force. Peter the Great, a visionary and often ruthless reformer, looked to the West, determined to modernize Russia and secure its place as a major European power. His travels through Europe exposed him to new ideas and technologies, which he eagerly sought to implement back home. He built a new capital, St. Petersburg, a window to the West, symbolizing his ambition to transform Russia into a modern state. The city's construction, on the marshy banks of the Neva River, was a monumental task that required immense resources and labor, and implemented sweeping reforms in administration, education, and the military. Peter's efforts to modernize the army and navy, establish new schools, and reform the bureaucracy were aimed at creating a state capable of competing with the great powers of Europe. Catherine the Great, a German princess who ascended to the Russian throne through cunning and ambition, continued Peter's legacy of expansion and modernization. Her reign was marked by significant territorial gains and internal reforms that further centralized and strengthened the state. Through a combination of diplomacy and military might, she extended Russia's borders, annexing Crimea and securing access to the Black Sea. This strategic acquisition not only expanded Russia's territory, but also enhanced its geopolitical influence. A patron of the arts and sciences, Catherine sought to transform Russia into a European cultural powerhouse, embracing Enlightenment ideals while ruling with an iron fist. Her support for the arts, education, and intellectual pursuits helped foster a cultural renaissance in Russia, embracing Enlightenment ideals while ruling with an iron fist. Her reign, though marked by autocratic rule, was also a period of significant cultural and intellectual growth, setting the stage for Russia's emergence as a major European power. The 19th century witnessed the twilight of the Tsarist era. While Russia made significant strides in industrialization and military power, deep social and economic inequalities festered beneath the surface. The vast majority of Russians, peasants toiling on the land, remained mired in poverty, ruled by a distant and increasingly out-of-touch elite. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 proved to be the catalyst for Russia's unraveling. Military defeats, economic hardship, and the Tsar's inept leadership fueled widespread discontent, pushing the country to the brink of collapse. In February 1917, a wave of popular uprisings swept through Petrograd, toppling the Tsar and ushering in a brief period of provisional government. However, the provisional government's inability to address the country's fundamental problems paved the way for a more radical faction to seize power: the Bolsheviks, led by the charismatic and ruthless Vladimir Lenin. In October 1917, the Bolsheviks launched a coup d'état, seizing control of key government buildings and proclaiming a new era in Russian history, the era of Soviet power. The Russian Revolution sent shockwaves across the world, ushering in a new chapter in global history and marking the beginning of a decades-long ideological struggle between communism and capitalism.